everything all set up here now. Got the circles in. I kind of messed up here. Well, I kind of messed up a lot actually. But you'll see when I open it, it hits the filter. And then it wants to pull that filter with it. On both sides. So, to cut that much out of the circles would look dumb. So I'm kind of not sure what to do at the moment. That was exactly why I didn't want to have to cut into this. So I might have to, I don't know, I'm thinking on putting a bar across back there to help push the filter forward. Just like so. Alright, just like so, so it'll clear. But, I don't know. I don't know at this point. I messed up big time though. But, I mean, it still looks pretty cool like that. I mean, it'll operate. I can set it to stop at that, but that's not open enough. I want it to open. Well, I mean, that would be ideal. You can see the stoppers, or the flaps aren't quite even either, which kind of drives me nuts, but oh well. But, and the paint got really messed up because I didn't turn the heat on in here when I painted. So I was just getting lazy. But it will, I'll probably take these off. I might just take them off for the start and run it without them. Just because they're not necessary. They're just there to look cool. So, yeah. Until I can figure out what exactly I'm doing. Because they're going to be, it's going to be tricky to make them work. That is for sure. That is for sure. Well, we kind of messed up a lot on this. So I mounted this up the other night in the video. And it doesn't, let's just crack that. No, it's just paint scratching off, okay. And it doesn't fit. I can't remember if I filmed that or not. So it doesn't fit, as you can see. It is it's bottoming out on that right there. You can see that. So I gotta take out that much off the back, or I could space up the front. I'd rather knock off the back to give myself some more clearance back there because it's already pretty much rubbing as is. And I still got that spacer coming, so yeah. And I gotta figure out where to mount this. So I'll have to either do something like that or just get a different. Is that a filter in there? I can't see any light. Shoot. But if that's a filter in there, then I'm not going to be too concerned. But I don't really want to have to put a fitting into the end of this. Come on now, get back on there. There we go. Because I don't really want to have to put a fitting right there. Because that would just look a little dumb. Just like that. But we'll see what happens. Alrighty, so she's I moved these holes forward now, you can see. And down a little bit. So, I mean, they still don't totally close even. That's because I messed up drilling the holes. But let's zoom out a bit. Not too much. There we go. So, got these back in here now. I have not checked to see if the filter clears, but it looks like it will. See, it's a little bit off on that back one, but that's how it was before I messed up drilling the holes for here. Somehow the rod twisted a bit when I did it, but whatever. So I've got a nut on the inside, and a nut on the outside, and a jam nut. This inside nut backs right up to the end of the bolt that I welded on. Yeah. So just waiting on the glue to dry on that guy right there. Okay, on that. But yeah, so I'm just kind of waiting on glue to dry now. I'm thinking I'm gonna take the line. I'll just run and I'll get a fitting, and I'll either glue it or bolt it or just fit it into the side here somehow. But yeah, if anyone knows where to get cheaper big DeWalt batteries, like the 4 or the 5 amp or the 6 amp even, send me a message, drop a comment, whatever. Instagram at Killer Automotive, shoot me a message there if you know a place to get cheaper batteries, because they are bloody expensive, and I would like to get some bigger ones. But yeah, so I'm gonna pull that piece off, jump in Monster, go get myself a fitting, and I can put that into the side there. And then I'm waiting on glue to dry till, well, probably tomorrow morning. Then I should be able to button her up finally, which will be nice. I did just check; it's still wet, so whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today now. Of course, I got that one video posted last night. Hopefully this video will be, I'll be posting another one continuously here now until I've got all the videos posted. There will be about 4 of them, but I mean, you already would have watched all them if you're watching this, I'm hoping, because it would kind of make not a lot of sense if you're just skipping right to this. But I'm just gonna do this all with English gloss aluminum paint and the Regal red. I'm just gonna toss a little bit. There we go. All touched up. I mean, it'll probably get painted again yet. I would like to find someone to powder coat it, just because that's a lot more durable. But not too sure yet. Not too sure yet. So tomorrow morning we'll get back on this. So the trimming I did to the base worked. We still do touch up here, right there, but I might trim that. I'm not sure yet, but it's not tightened in. So what I did was I made my mark here, and I just drilled a hole right in the center there, so you can see clean through. And I'm gonna come from the top side. Yeah, it definitely doesn't close, and cut probably straight across from here, just because I will need the room for the flaps. I just want to do a straight line, come straight across. I'm gonna measure from these dents coming up and coming up. That way I'll get a straight line coming across. So, made my marks. These are 19 inches following up through the grooves, 12 inches wide, and then just line straight back using a square. So I'm gonna cut here and just kind of increment, go back until I got room. Because I can use paint thinner, brake cleaner, or whatever to knock that off, and then just repaint the hood if it fucks it up. So, got her hole cut, and I just flipped her back, and it does latch now, but we're getting close though, so I should just have to knock out that piece right there, and it might just come down already. That's pretty simple. That is pretty simple. So you can see where it's meeting the top there, so I just gotta, there we go, I can either knock that off or come back across there. So I'll probably come back across there and just get that whole piece out. So went with a 12 by 5 inch hole. I mean, I definitely cut a lot more than I needed to. You can see the hood's all dirty now, but it is poking a bit. So that's with the flaps open. That's with them closed. I mean, it sits a little bit cockeyed, but I'm not that concerned about it. But yeah, gotta pop the hood now. I do have her clamped in now, so that is its somewhat final place. It does move a little bit, but yeah, it'll wiggle a bit. But that's it there. I just got a drill hole back here to run the connecting line for that guy. So I just had a rag on that for cutting. When I cut the initial hole, I did have a rag over the throttle body. But yeah, so you can see I had to move the hole forward. I think I went over that, but yeah, so it'll be functional like that. I didn't want to flap the other way, but this way works too. So yeah, I'll still do an Naca duct, but yeah, so she's in there. I guess that leaves only one thing to do, and that'd be fire it up. So I'm gonna go get me some keys, and we'll see how she runs. There we go. So we got her running. Definitely not up to temp, but just had to re-record this because the stereo decided to kick in and was playing music, and I don't want to get demonetized. So, but I can hear it pulling air in. Probably won't come over on the video, but now I just got to make the linkage butterfly. Let's see which way do we. So I should be able to link it from here to. Oh wait. I gotta think here now. Open that back up. That comes forward. If I were to run a pin back here and down, back to here, then come down to there, that way when that folds forward, it would pull this back. That'll work. That's what I'm gonna do. This morning, sat down, did some drawing for the Naca duct here. So this is the rough sketch of it, and here is all the number work for it. Just keeping a slight breeze blowing, so I'm just keeping something on there for weight. But let's toss the keys in the truck. We'll need them later. So it is 20 inches long, 12 inches wide, and it'll be 2.5 inches deep at the front. So I will post the photos of where I kind of got my graphing from for this, and the website that I got it all from. I can do a more in-depth video if anyone asks for it, but it's kind of boring stuff, so unless you really plan on doing this, you really don't want to read all of it or go through all of it. So yeah, I'm going to start with measuring 20 inches back from, there we go, so 20 inches from here all the way back to wherever that lands up. Hopefully I've got room. And then actually I think I still need those keys for weight to keep them papers down. And then after that I will just start going through all my different drawouts from there. 20 inches back. Oh geez, that went well. Whatever. 20 inches back brings us up to there. So I'll do that, and then I'll bring the body saw back and start cutting. Alrighty, so I got it all drawn out here. You can see I messed up because I started going with 1 inch, because that's what I did on my piece of paper there. But that wasn't it. So at a 2-inch interval, our line is 5.9 inches from the center. At our 4-inch interval, it is 5.48 inches. Now I didn't go that exact, I just went. So here we're 5.9, so I took a 16th off of 6 inches. Here I went 5.5. And where's our next one? Here. That's at 6 inches. It's a 6-inch interval, it's 2.58. So I probably, yeah, I mean, you kind of just guess up, guess down, wherever to make it work. But it came out with this shape. Now I'm going to run over it with the Sharpie. And then grab the body saw. And you can see the wind's picking up here a bit, but I just used little 5-pound magnets to keep this paper down so that I could view it. But yeah, you can see I've got rags on stuff down there, so I don't have to worry about getting junk in there when I start cutting. So I'm gonna run over this with a Sharpie, fire up the compressor, and fire up that body saw that I used in the last video. So here's the body saw again, and it just pulled a little bit D lever. So the video definitely it focuses that blade a lot more, because in reality it's going absolutely nuts. But yeah, so I'm going to start cutting and following these nice dark lines that I put in with the Sharpie. So got all the cutting done here now, and this is nice and flappy. Zoom out, there we go. So this is flappy there now. It's kind of resting up in here, right there. You'll sit about that height there, but maybe we'll bring it down a bit more, run a bit more angle, make it a little bit less useful, because there is an optimal angle for it. That's anywhere between 4 and 7 degrees. I went with 7 degrees just because of the length that it gave me, and because that's kind of what I could find would work the best. So you can see I pulled that piece off, that piece there. But yeah, so I'm gonna pull this here rag off. We're covered in bits there now. Just toss the rag on the ground, that'll be fine. Yeah, so I'm gonna go grab the intake again, and we'll pop that up there. Oh, that's what fell while I was cutting. Kind of need that piece, but yeah. So you can see I kind of came up perfectly here. The one side, I'm not sure why it didn't cut through, but that's not important, that doesn't matter anyways. So yeah, I'm gonna go grab the intake and we'll see how she looks. Well, there we go, got that up in there. I mean, that looks pretty cool like that. Of course, I'll have to trim out for those to open up. That ain't gonna work unless I bring it all the way down to there, because then those can just flop freely about in there. So filters in, and then totally clear if for some reason they ever do come back all the way around. But yeah, so I'll have to yeah, so that's that. Now I gotta get my side contours built up. Well, I'll go grab probably a piece of cardboard for doing that, just because that'll be a lot easier than trying to weld in a piece of metal in that trim. Also, I got the side welded in, kind of tacked in now. I'm just trying to bang in to fill these gaps, but we'll see what happens in the end. I know I'm scratching up the paint. It's all getting burnt up anyways. We'll have to repaint it when I'm done. But yeah, I'll cut this end off here. I didn't really want to have to bring it all the way up here, because that'd be a big waste of metal. So yeah, I'm just kind of, I know I'm gonna have issues getting some of these filled in, so that's kind of why I'm trying to pound it back up here. There we go. So I got it somewhat welded up here. I'm gonna cut it off and I'm gonna Bondo it. Oh geez, another piece of shit driving by. Yeah, so that's why I'm not doing anything here, because I'm just gonna fill that in with Bondo, just because I'm gonna be able to contour it better. But yeah, you can see where I was beating on that there with the chipping hammer to bring that in. I did bend it over my knee just because this is still just 16 gauge. I mean, this body's actually pretty thick, as it's definitely not 16 gauge thick. It's probably 18. I think that's what this body is 18 gauge, or at least this hood. But yeah, so you see I'm still covered up down there, so I'm not dumping any junk into the engine. It looks pretty good. There's a little bit sitting on the AC line here, but adds character. Probably should toss something over that alternator yet too, being magnetic. Oops, oh well, next time. But yeah, woohoo! I just brought the dumpster up so I could set the welder on it, because my leads aren't long enough. I only got 6-foot leads, so getting into the middle of the hood of a truck that's 4 feet tall isn't too great. So yeah, the dumpster is a nice help. So I remembered I had a welding blanket, so I tossed that over the engine. I came down here, cup, and brought this side up a little bit. We can close the hood here now. We'll, so there's no more no more gap over there. I did bang out a little bit of this indent, but that's okay. I'll definitely have to sand back this hood a bit. So that'll be that'll make for a third layer of paint on this hood that I applied, then plus whatever the factory gray was. But yeah, so I'm gonna grab the grinder, knock this side off, grab a flap disc, run that across it, re-weld anywhere that blows apart, and then do up the other side. So yeah, it's coming along pretty good. You can look up a couple different ways online to build these as well. This is kind of just what I went with. I might put a plate back on here, have a bit of a lift to it over this, so I might weld a new one in there. I don't know yet. That, or maybe I'll grab my second hood and do that with it. But I was going to keep that one factory in case when I saw the truck, they're like, well, I don't really like that. And I go, okay, I'll just toss the other hood on and the factory intake system. So we'll see. We shall see. So got the other side all welded up here now. Well, all welded up. I can put air quotations on that one, but it's all heavy tacked in. So I'm gonna cut her off like I did on the other side here, and then grab the flap disc, start going nuts with that, and then grab the Bondo, because this is definitely, that ain't going nowhere. So yeah, I'll have to Bondo up here. I'm not gonna bother. I mean, that flips, it's a little flimsy, but I mean, the whole thing is pretty. And I could actually heat that up and quench it so it stops doing that, but I'm not too well, nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep going here and cut this off and then grab the flap disc. Alrighty, so got her all buffed down now. Now just go start, I'm gonna wire brush it first, get all the slag off, get any loose paint off, maybe hit it with the blowgun, knock all the loose bits out, and then I'll so start going at her with the Bondo. So yeah, it ramps in pretty nice. There's a bit of a dip here in it, but I mean, it's definitely gonna help. It's gonna help suck air in, just because it is all up front and forward, and it looks badass AF. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm really happy with it. This project is coming out real nice, real nice. So I took a piece of 3/8 rod here, drilled a bunch of holes in it, tried to tap it, but that didn't work. I broke my tap. Got a nice little spring here, not a clue what it's from. It was in my parts bin, and it hooks up into the hole here. There we go. And then do this piece of chain link set. Oh, yeah, so I'm gonna have to put preload on the spring, so I have to bring it up probably to this hole here. I'll have to drill that one up quick. There we go. And then this guy hooks into here. Come on now. Hook in there. Try the other end. There we go. And then down to there. And it will. I might have to go some more yet. Might actually have to move that point. That hookup point. Go there. Yeah, because that still doesn't open very much. But then when the cable will pull tight on this, then it'll release it. I'm hoping. So I'm gonna have to move my point. So I've got to have continuous tension on it for it to work. So I'll have to cut this off, move it back a bit. however far it's got to be, and then then I'll be just get a piece length of aircraft cable and run my linkage. So almost done. Alrighty, so I got my I just used half a chain link and I welded it onto the side. I did have it up here, but I messed up and I had it so the spring had no tension on it at this point, but I needed tension like this. So that will be max opening using this spring, but I might change springs out, I'm not too sure. We'll see. So then the throttle will keep the tension on this, and then it will let off. When you let off the throttle, it'll open up like so. So yeah, that's the plan with that. Then these fit a 6/32 machine screw. So I was going to tap and die it, which you see I did on this one, but the screw snapped off and I broke my brand new tap. So that was kind of a nuisance, but I mean, it's pretty cool how it works. Of course, you can take tension off the spring by moving it up, and that would hence close, would have these open less, like would only open up to that point or whatever. But yeah, so just got to go mount her up, and then run to the hardware store, and I'll grab a couple different springs and some cable, and then we'll be in business. Got her mounted up, and before I went to the hardware store, I just cut out my circles. So now technically, if I want, I can drive this to the hardware store. So sounds like that's what I'm going to do, just to make sure that it operates properly, and it's not too far of a walk if I do wind up getting stranded somehow. So time to jump in and take her for a rip. See that that all fits perfectly there, so that way I can measure out. I've got it taped in the truck so I can measure out exactly how long I need my cable to be. So yeah, be back in a bit. So next day now, got too late last night. I got my wire and I messed up on it. You see it's a bit short, so I'm just gonna take a zip tie and loop it. But yeah, I messed up and made too big of a loop back there. But it's just hooping around this part here, I think. I'm pretty sure that comes straight from the throttle, from the foot pedal itself. But I haven't. Well, that makes noise. That one doesn't. Let's see where those go. One comes into, one has to do with cruise control, and yeah, the other one goes into the truck. This back one though, I'm not sure where it runs to, but I mean that doesn't matter. I'm just taking a small zip tie. Looks like this bottom one is the one that I'm needing. Taking a small zip tie, like so. Taking a small zip tie, and then looping it through here. There we go, just like so. No, just come on. There we go. There. That way it is easily adjustable. And the throttle is actually strong enough to not let that spring back until we. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that a lot. I actually could move that up. I'll grab a different zip tie. Maybe I can think up a different method. But yeah, I just thought of a different method. I'll be back in a bit. Alrighty, so what my final plan was here was 2 bolts coming through, zip tie in between, and then to my cable. So this is kind of the optimal place I found it fits, because my throttle comes to full, I don't get slack, and that'll be more than enough air getting sucked in. When I started coming up too high, I was raising the idle too much. by just pulling too much tension on that cable. So, a better way to do this if I were doing it again would have been to run a second hole coming through here for the cable to feed through, and then have a tapped hole coming through that you could then tighten up so you could adjust your cable length, which would essentially be an easier way of adjusting your idle, but just another way to adjust everything else that's there as well. So, but it does indeed run. If you follow me on Snapchat at Travis Epp, you would have just saw the video of it firing up and making crazy ass noise and going because you can really hear it pull that air in when it revs up, which is absolutely awesome. But I'm gonna wrap this up here, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment down below, and well, I guess I still got more sanding to do up here. You can see Bondo push through to the bottom there, but I still gotta sand this and paint it. But I mean, it's sanding and painting Bondo, so that's not too fancy looking. But she's ready to rip again, so I'm happy. I still gotta finish buttoning up here. Not entirely sure what the plan is yet, but maybe we won't finish. Oh, there we go. I think we just figured it out. So that goes in there, and that goes in there, and that can push down. So there we go. That is that's the end. So again, I say like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Let's see what we can do badass next. Got a run in here, so we're just gonna give her a quick little test blip. Oh yeah, that sounds awesome. Took her to limiter there once, but she's still pretty cold, so that and I'm sure there's gonna be a cop pulling up pretty quick here, because this thing's mighty loud. Yeah! Oh yeah! So happy!